Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about Evo skills, what they are and how they function, and of course talk about which Umas received the biggest changes with the introduction of Evo skills. Evo skills are a second year anniversary balance change that is expected to come out early on global. What it is that each Uma has two initial gold skills. If you fulfill a specific condition that the game asks you to do, will be able to evolve that gold skill to becoming something even stronger. For example, Silence Suzuka over here has the condition if she beats a specific race or wins 2 G2 races or 2 G1 races and have at least 800 speed, she will be able to evolve that concentration skill to something called perfect concentration, which adds additional effects on to Silence Suzuka. For example, it adds a 0.2 extra acceleration for Silence Suzuka alongside her having better reaction times at the start of the race, which is very good Evo skill. One thing that I want to talk about is that you must buy that gold skill for it to be able to evolve. If you did not buy the skill at all, you will not be able to evolve the skill in the first place. And yeah, that's pretty much how the functionality of Evo skills are. It is very simple, most conditions are not rough, and you get extra bonuses depending on the skill. So here is a chart that I made over here, and I can explain at least a couple of examples on a specific Umas. For example, 1 out of 2 Evo skills being bad or niche. If we swap to the Game Tura website, you will realize, for example, this is going to be King Halo. She has a skill called the Bigger Picture as one of her 2 gold skills. So the problem of King Halo is that this skill is 120 SP cost. This skill, which is going to be the common version, is also 120 SP cost. So this is 240 SP cost for a skill that increases your field of view, which isn't really that good. Once you evolve it and fulfill the condition, you only get a 0.15 target speed increase. This is not good because you are wasting so much SP for little target speed increase. And this is what I mean, one of the 2 Evo skills not being that good. Then we have the distance only / style only Evo skills. These are Umas that have one of their or both of their skills tied to distance only or style only Evo skills. So let's take an example. Taiki Shuttle, both of her Evo skills are mile only. One of the 2 for Marazansky is only for mile. Diva Scarlet, who I'm going to show on Game Tura really quickly, also has this issue, where this is Color Tunes, which is a medium track only, and then one of her skills is Race Planner. So this is a pace chaser skill for medium, and sometimes you wanna run her as a front runner. Not every time you'll be at a medium distance champions meeting. Her Evo skills aren't really going to be that great unless you run her as a pace chaser in medium distance tracks. As for the Umas that have both of their gold skills become something decent, I'll be talking about some of them. But for example, someone like Narta Bryan, where she gets both of her skills to be decent, Special Week gets to have a really good big jump in power with the introduction of Evo skills. I'm going to be talking about some examples in detail. And then we have Umas that are extremely unique because Nice Nature, of course, both of her gold skills are debuffs, but they actually be changed to something different, which is very unique. Agnes Tekion has Dominator, also Symbili Rudolph has Dominator. I know Grass Wonder has Dominator, but the other gold skill that she has is not really that good, unfortunately. So I'm not really going to be talking about Grass Wonder. But yeah, while I wanted to talk about all the Umas and their evo skills, their skills are going to be extremely long since there is a lot of Umas in here and I will have to break down every single one of them. I'm only going to be bringing a couple of examples. A first example of this is going to be Nice Nature. Both of her skills, if you know, are Mystifying Murmur and All Seeing Eyes. However, with the introduction of evo skills, you can switch them from being a debuff skill to being an acceleration skill and a target speed increase skill. So this is going to be extremely interesting. This is going to be Mystifying Murmur and this is going to be All Seeing Eyes. So over here, it gets changed to a skill that will proc in the late race if you are in a medium distance track, provided that you have been blocked from the front for 1 second. You will get a 0.4 acceleration. Extremely good. Then we have All Seeing Eyes gets switched to a skill that will give you a target speed increase for 4 seconds. Its condition is that you have to be a late soldier and it will proc randomly in the late race. And of course, its condition to get them evolved is not really that difficult. Then we have Original Special Week. So, Special Week, it is going to be extremely interesting. So, for Special Week, she gets a major buff with the 2nd year anniversary in general, because her unique skill becomes a current speed increase instead of target speed increase, which is better than target speed increase because this actually adds up with any target speed increases that you have. It takes the current speed value that you are at and multiplies it by said number. Then this skill, which is in body and mind, this actually would trigger randomly now in the second half of the final spurt instead of just randomly, which is of course very strong. It will give her a lot of speed. Then her Hungry Commander gives her extra tiny bit of speed, and both conditions are not really that difficult. So overall, extremely good. Then we unironically have Summer Special Week. So with Summer Special Week, unlike most other characters where their effect gets increased, her duration gets increased by tremendous amounts. So this is essentially Fast and Furious. You have to be in the mid game and of course be 4th or below, and you have to be a late soldier. You will get, instead of a 2.4 seconds of a target speed increase, now it becomes 4 seconds. And this is actually its on. Its on is going from 1.8 seconds all the way to 4 seconds. This is double the duration essentially, which is extremely powerful. Both evo skills for Summer Special Week actually are very strong. Then we have Taiki Shuttle. Both of her skills are only for mile distance tracks, but the good thing about Taiki Shuttle is that both of these skills are actually decent skills for mile distance tracks, and of course that means that having more target speed increase on them makes her a very strong Uma for mile distance tracks. Then we have Tokai Teo. Tokai Teo, one of her 2 skills, this one is Effie, but it can work sometimes, but it is extremely inconsistent. However, Teo Step. So this one, this is randomly in the mid game. if you are a medium distance track, you will get a lane movement speed increase, acceleration increase, and target speed increase. At worst, it is going to be a target speed increase in the mid game. And of course it will help Tokateo move by the side, which of course is good because sometimes somebody is going to block her, but this skill helps her like move around. However, if this triggers late enough in the mid race and you go into the late race with this skill just gives you speed carry over into acceleration. Extremely powerful skill. However, it is not consistent and it's only for medium distance tracks. Then we have Agia Stekia. Agia Stekian has one of her skills is Dominator. However, it gets changed to an extremely powerful target speed increase skill that triggers randomly in the late race, provided that you are in a medium distance track. Extremely good because Dominator in itself is somewhat of an expensive skill, but the target speed increase is very strong. And of course, the other skill, which is going to be, I believe, Race Planner, gives her a tiny bit of extra speed. Then we have Silence Suzuka. Silence Suzuka gets perfect concentration and it gives her extra acceleration, which is extremely good because she is the only runaway and was taking the lead and groundwork, and now perfect concentration. She essentially has 0.8 excel. Even if you do not use runaway Suzuka and just like frontrunner Suzuka, this is an extremely powerful evo skill, probably the best one out of everybody, because having an additional excel compared to other fronts helps you maintain the lead. And then her other skill, it is still extremely gambly because it can trigger randomly at the final corner and provided you are first place possession. However, if it triggers good enough, you will get a very good amount of acceleration with current speed multiplier. However, the condition for this is that you either learn runaway or have 4 exclusive skills for front runners. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to cover some Umas over here and of course explain how Evo skills work. If you found this video to be helpful, consider subscribing and consider joining the community server linked in the comment section, and I hope to see you in the next one.